Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be looking at a download/phone product, hence the fact there is nothing on the table. And this is going to be Total Control by Hiroshi and Illusionist. This was requested to me by someone in the comments to do, and I had a small interest in this product as well, so I decided to pick it up for Black Friday at Illusionist. So I'm going to make this review for you. I had a chance to play around with it, see its positives, see its negatives, and give you all the information that you need to know if you want to purchase this. So let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Total Control. So what is Total Control? Total Control is essentially an effect where you can control your phone through the spectator's phone. So you can move the volume up on your spectator's phone and it's going to move up on your phone. You can turn the Wi-Fi off on the spectator's phone and the Wi-Fi is going to turn off on your phone, etc. It's essentially what Total Control is. Unfortunately, I cannot perform this to you because, as you may have guessed, the phone on which Total Control is installed is the phone with which I am filming this video. So I cannot do this for you. However, I will see if I'm able to find a performance that I could add maybe to the sides of the screen. I will see about that, so no promises, but if there is, you're going to see something pop up. If not, we are going to just move on with the review. So where do you buy this? How much does it cost? And what do you get? So you can buy this directly from illusionist.com. It's going to cost you, I believe, $30 US, which is around 46 Canadian. I got it on sale. I got it for 26 Canadian, which makes me think it was around 13, 15 USD. And what you get is two things. One, you're going to get an email in which you're going to get all the links that you need for the installation of everything. We're going to cover that in a moment. And then you get some videos, which are around 2 hours long, that go over the setup, the routining, every single little detail that you need to know. He even covers things you need to know if you have a newer phone, so 14 and 15, which is very, very nice. So that is essentially what you get with your purchase. Now, let's talk about difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform and to install? So we're going to talk about the install. So how easy is this to set up? So it's going to take you a bit of time to set up, maybe 10, 20 minutes max, because you will need to install everything on your phone. Everything is already pre-made, so you just have to click on the links and install what you need. It's very well explained in the tutorial. You're going to install all of that, and then you're going to have to run and modify a few fields here and there and to do a few technical things that are just one presses of a button or maybe two. So don't worry, it's nothing complicated. The setup is relatively easy, and even if you don't do much phone magic, you will be able to get through this setup without any issues. Now, regarding the performance, how difficult is this? And this is where it gets tricky, because to me, this is intermediate to advanced. This is not really a beginner trick. I mean, you can remove a lot of the trick because it is modular. We're going to get to that in practicality. So you can remove a lot of the trick and make it just two phases that are going to be super easy. But if you want to do the effect as Hiroshi does in the trailer and as in the various performances, you are going to have to workhorse this. And what I mean by workhorsing this is that you'll have to learn all the timings, all the beats, all the moments that you're going to have to do, all the movements, all the choreography. You are going to have to practice this a lot, because there's two ways you can perform this. One that uses a gimmick, which is something you buy from Amazon for like $6, which is not really expensive. And the other one just uses pure timing. So even the one with the gimmick, you need to learn the timings, because there's a lot of points in the routine where you will have to do things based on your choreography, which means that if at one point you're supposed to do this to turn the volume up, but your phone turns off the Wi-Fi, you have looped the entire choreography, okay? I don't want to get too much into the methodology of this, but it gives you an idea. If you do the non-gimmick version, then from start to finish, you will have to learn this as if it was something that you've known for 20 plus years. You're going to need to learn this from the back of your hand, front, back, forward, sideways, everything, every movement, every beat, every little thing you're going to have to be able to do and learn in order to perform this. It is not hard, right? It's not that you have to do insane sleight of hand or insane misdirection. It's a really, think of it as a theater piece, right? There's a start, there's an end, there's a middle, and you have to learn everything and how everything flows and at what point everything flows, because yeah, you're gonna have to learn that. I won't tell you exactly the reasons because that would unveil a bit of the method, but you will have to learn everything that you need to perform this, and you have to learn it well and on beat and on par with what's going on. So difficulty wise, I'd say intermediate to advanced, because you do need to put in the time to practice this if you want to do the entire routine. If you just want to do the volume and the Wi-Fi or something else, you can literally make the routine last 10 seconds and just do it just like this, and you're good to go, right? So that is up to you. You can make it easier if you so wish. Now let's talk about practicality. So what do you have to carry around with you is always the question we ask first. And that is, well, your phone, which you already carry around, which is A-okay, and the extra gimmick if you want to do it with the gimmick, but the gimmick is like this big and you can just pop it in your pocket and you're good. So carrying capacity wise, this is very good. In terms of repeatability, this is repeatable as well. You can do it as many times as you want. In terms of inspectability, your phone can be inspected. The spectator's phone can be inspected as well. They should normally not find anything, whether you're even on iPhone 15, 14, or I think this can only be done with 11 plus or 12 plus. So if you're on any of those phones as well, the phone is inspectable. Even what they say in the trailer, that the spectator can go through all your pages, can delete every app. It is 100% true. They can do that and the trick will work. So it is very deceptive in that front. In terms of angles, it is pretty much 360 as well. The angles of this are great. You're going to be able to do it pretty much surrounded in most scenarios. That is not a problem. You also do not need a table for this, which means that you can do it in the hands, impromptu, however you want. Again, speaking of impromptu, yes, this is kind of impromptu. You can do it in the heat of the moment. There's not any preparation you have to do. It is maybe 2-3 seconds before you approach the person, you have to do a small thing, but then you're ready to go in the routine. Now, the last thing I want to talk about practicality is the modularity of the routine. As I mentioned, you can edit this. You don't have to use the songs that Hiroshi uses. You don't have to use the beats that Hiroshi uses. If for you, the screen flickering in multicolor rainbow is not for you, you can remove that step from the effect. So you can make it as extravagant as you want, which is going to make it a bit harder, or you can break it down to literally be maybe 1 or 2 things. So if you just want to do, again, as I mentioned, the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, the airplane mode, and maybe the volume, and that's all you feel that you need to do in order to prove to your spectator that you're able to control things, then go for it. It's going to make the routine much easier for you as well. And yeah, so it is modular. You can even add things. So if you want to make it even more complex, you can add even more steps there, and he teaches you how to do that and everything. So it is a practical routine and one that you can change depending on your performance style. Now let's talk about where to perform. So where do you perform total control? Total control is something that you would perform in close-up scenarios. So I wouldn't do this on stage, parlor, anything like that. Additionally, I would not do this in a silent environment or in a more serious environment. So I wouldn't go, if you have a gig at a really fancy restaurant, I wouldn't go do this effect and have music blasting at a table because you're doing this effect. Again, you can remove that part of the trick and just do something else that doesn't use music and sound. That is completely fine, right? But if you want to do the entire routine, I would do this somewhere very casual, like a bar, on the street, or maybe a really loud reception or a really loud wedding reception, something like that. I wouldn't do it in like a private gathering where other people are doing their stuff, like a fancy restaurant or anything like that. But again, if you want to botch down the routine to certain steps that don't use the music part, that don't use the sound parts, the sound cues in the routine, then again, you can do this wherever you see fit. It is modular on that, but I still wouldn't do it parlor stage because people won't necessarily see what's going on, except if you have a camera and the big setups, but that we don't really count here on this channel because I know that is a lot of money and a lot of people do not have those facilities. So now that we've covered all of this, what are the positives and negatives of total control? Let's start with the negatives. 1, the routine will require a lot of practice. Not that practice is negative, but if you feel that this was something self-working and you buy this because you feel the moment you're going to buy it, install the thing, you're going to be ready to go, that is not what you're going to get here. You're going to have to put in the work, the practice, and the effort in order to get this done. And for some people, that may not be worth it for the type of effect that it is. Second of all, it is also a routine that you cannot do at any point in time. As I said, if you want to do the full routine, I wouldn't do this at a restaurant or at certain gatherings, depending on the vibe. I would do this more at a bar, at a hangout with friends or something like that. So I wouldn't necessarily use this in my professional sets because it doesn't even fit my personality. This is not something I would do at a paid gig. This is more something I would do on the offbeat just to test it out with some friends, or at a bar with some people, or at a club with some random people that want to see something, right? But again, that depends on you, but these are the negatives for me. So what are the positives? One, the tutorial is very good. It is very easy to install. The effect is fun once you get it down. It is very well built. Hiroshi seems like a really nice guy, and the tutorial shows that as well. And everything that he put into this is really well made. It works straight out of the box, if we may say, or straight out of the email, right? It is also very visual, and it's also kind of a unique routine. And I think that's the most important, because this is a unique routine that many people will not expect when you pull out a phone. So there's that as well. So having covered everything that we have to do, is this something I recommend? And what do I give it from a scale from 1 to 10? Would I recommend this? If you want to put the time and effort into this because you really like what you saw in the trailer, in the ad copies, and other people performing this, then yes, I think this is worth it and you are going to enjoy it. However, if you are a bit on the fence and a bit weary, maybe the amount of practice and dedication this requires will not be for you, so I don't necessarily recommend it in that case. So, what do I rate it out of 10? I can't possibly rate it extremely high because this is not something I will use. It doesn't fit my personality that much. I will maybe try it out in a few places. I did try it out with some family and some really close friends, but in public to random spectators, I don't know if this is something that I would necessarily do. I have a lot of stuff on my phone like Wikitest, Inertia, etc. If I were to do a phone trick, or I would do maybe something like Enigma, right? I wouldn't necessarily go for this as my go-to, so it's not something I'm necessarily going to use, but it's still a good effect, a well thought out effect, and one that if you get the choreography down is going to be a showstopper and a show stealer. So I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 because for me, I won't use it, but for you, it may be much better or much worse. As always, this is my opinion. There's probably other reviews out there as well, so make sure to look at those. So that is everything that I had to say about Total Control. As always, leave a comment down below if you have any questions. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next one. Have a great one, and bye.